Nearly 80 years since the D-Day landings, when Allied troops attacked German forces on the coast of northern France.
It was June 1944, the largest military, naval, air and land operation ever attempted. Of course, it marked the start of the campaign to liberate Nazi-occupied northwest Europe.
Well, Breakfast John Maguire is at the D-Day Story Museum in Portsmouth for us this morning. And John, I know they are preparing to mark the anniversary in various very special ways. Morning, John.
Yeah, morning, Sally. Morning, John. Morning to everyone at home as well. We are 100 days away from June the 6th, which marks the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings, as you were saying. Commemorations will take place here in Portsmouth. There'll be a very large event here on the 5th, and then things will move to Normandy. There'll also be a large event in Staffordshire as well at the National Memorial Arboretum. This here is the memorial wall. It's one of the ways that they raise money for the museum, actually, by selling these bricks. And, of course, family members will put their names of their forebears, their designation, their regiment, their squadron, their ship or whatever, and it's a way to remember them and also to raise money for the museum. The 80th anniversary, the 75th, was an extraordinary event, 5 years ago, but the 80th promises to be just as special. Of course, there are less veterans, anyone involved on D-Day. There were 16-year-olds there, by the way. The youngest now would be 96, but many of them are actually more than 100 years old. I want to introduce you to Captain Ian Peatey from the Royal Navy and Squadron Leader Luke Jules. Good morning to you from the Royal Air Force. Gentlemen, it does promise to be a special commemoration of D-Day. As current servicemen, what do events like this mean to you?
I think it means absolutely everything to me. It's relevant today as it was then. It's a chance for us to look back at what the veterans did for us, and basically 80 years of freedom for our country, so it's absolutely massive.
You both had grandfathers, I know, who served during the Second World War. Ian, tell me a little bit about yours.
So my grandfather, George Heaton, was a Halifax bomber crew. He was softening the targets just before D-Day and was unfortunately shot down. A classic Allo story, hidden in a French farmhouse, rescued by the French resistance and escaped through France on a bike. So yeah, absolutely really proud of his exploits and a great inspiration.
And they are amazing stories. And Luke, you were telling me that your grandfather opened up after you'd been on active service in Afghanistan.
Yes, so he told me the basics of his time in Normandy when I was at school, but it wasn't until after my first tour in Afghanistan, coming home and speaking to him about working with British casualties and movements of British troops around Afghanistan, that he then started to tell me more about his time in Normandy and the human interest side, and finding German soldiers, and in particular in one case burying a German soldier by the roadside, which who he said reminded him of his Uncle Sid, who just passed away with the Royal Navy a couple of months beforehand. So finding the connection between him and who, when I was a child, I'd always seen as the enemy, and we were able to bond over that far more so after my own experiences on operations.
He felt as if you had a renewed understanding, as it were, I suppose.
I suppose so. And there's a shared experience between servicemen of all generations and all nations when you've gone through events like this. And that was able to serve as quite a strong bond between us in the last few years of his life.
Okay. Gentlemen, you're going to help us with a special presentation in just a couple of minutes' time, because I wanted to introduce you to Cyril Ford, known as Stanley. Stan is his middle name. A D-Day veteran, just a young sailor in June 1944. He was 19 then. He's 98 years young now. We'll meet him in just a second live, but I sat down with him yesterday to hear some of his stories, and I can tell you, he's an incredible guy, and he has incredible tales. Watch this.
All the way from here to the actual beach would be a roadway.
80 years on, and Stan Ford's recollection of the summer of 1944 is remarkable.
Yeah, this is American, isn't it?
Yeah, they're Americans, yeah.
Yes.
Here at the D-Day Story Museum in Portsmouth, he's telling me about the Mulberry Harbour, the vast floating pontoons used to bring the equipment ashore as the invasion progressed. Stan was a 19-year-old sailor on board HMS Fratton when it was hit by a torpedo. The force of the blast threw him and the machine gun platform he was standing on overboard.
You don't hear it explode, you just get a feeling like. And the feeling was me going through the air with and landing in the water. So we become detached. The gun platform, they were either bolted or welded to the steel deck, but they come apart and overwent. And but I survived that.
He should have been strapped to the guns. He wasn't. And as they sunk to the seabed, Stan, thankfully, floated free.
The ship sunk in 4 minutes. Gun platform and gun went straight on down. And but I was feeling my back like, and anyway, a little craft come by and hands come over the side and started to pull me. You know, you put your hand up. But no, I was oh no, oh my back. But anyway, they kept pulling. They got to get the guy out of the water. And as soon as they got me out of the water, they laid me down on the deck, and I went off. Nature put me to sleep. And I didn't wake up until I was in a field hospital, the 84th General Field Hospital in France, a few miles in from Gold Beach. And that's where I come to.
He'd suffered serious injuries to his spine and both legs. News had been sent ahead to his parents, but when he returned home, there was confusion about which part of his body had been wounded.
I went down the front path and my mother must have seen me. She come to the front door and she said, "You're not disfigured. You're not disfigured." And I said, "No, Mother, I'm not. But the letters said you had damaged cheeks." I said, "Mother, it was the others."
The other cheeks.
It was the other cheeks.
This summer, he'll once again return to Normandy and to the British Memorial at Gold Beach.
I got 31 reasons for going back. And this is the 31 of the friends and shipmates that didn't survive.
Their names are among the more than 22,000 on the walls and pillars of the memorial.
I go there just and I run my hand down and pick out certain ones that I was real buddy. They used to go ashore with, like, I find them. I find the ones that were real buddies, like, you know. And that makes a difference of going there. And it is a marvelous, construction.
Like all the veterans of D-Day and the Battle for Normandy, all now well into their 90s, if not older, Stan says it's important to remember those who died, to honour their sacrifice, not just for generations past, but also for generations in the future. Stan's with us.
Yes.
How are you, Stan?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Good, looking in fine fettle. Ian's now going to make a presentation of one of these brick fronts that'll go onto the memorial wall. Ian, do the honours for us.
So Stan, on behalf of the Royal Navy, the whole country and our allies, a big thank you. And this is just a small token of our appreciation for everything you've done, giving us our freedom for the last 80 years. So thank you very much, Stan.
It's a great honour to receive something like this. I never dreamt it. One day, my name will be on a plaque here in Portsmouth. It is a great honour. It is a great honour. I really appreciate, on behalf of myself and my family, what everybody's been saying, doing. And like I said, to keep repeating them, it's a great honour for me to be in this situation at this great age.
It is a great age as well, 98 years old. And I said in the film just a couple of minutes ago, your memory seems to me to be as sharp as ever.
Well, yes, my mother was, she was a great person. She brought up a big family, eight boys and 2 girls. And we were a big happy bunch, and unfortunately, I'm the only one that survived of the whole family. So there's a time when I would have loved my siblings, my brothers, and my father to be here. But knowing the Christian traditions, I know they're looking down on me.
What a proud day for them. You had 7 brothers served in the war.
And 7 brothers served in the war, and one was a ambulance driver for the Bristol Blitz. That was a terrifying job for him to be doing. Yeah.
And gentlemen, to spend time with a veteran like Stan, to hear some of his stories. I know you were speaking very fondly about your grandfathers, but what does it mean to thank them, to commemorate what they did?
It's really gratifying to have you here, actually, Sam, especially on this 80th anniversary, and to feel like gentlemen such as yourselves are a link back to our previous generation, people in my own family, and everybody in the nation uniting in a common cause on that day. So it's a real honour to be here. Thank you.
It's a great honour.
And we talked yesterday, didn't we, about how important it is not just to look back, but to look forward. The new education centre has been built at the Normandy Memorial in Versailles. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's the climax. It's really the final thing that I needed to be put together, because I got 3 little great grandsons, and I know they would do their duty when the time comes, but I would rather that they didn't be put through something like that. And I take every opportunity, if I can speak to a class of children, which I will be doing in June, to repeat the same message. Take it aboard what these people have done for you, and just take the message and spread it around. Talk about it. Don't let it be forgotten. Don't let it be forgotten. There's something like 22,000 names, 22,400 names on those pillars in Normandy. And like I said, long may they stand, and for future generations to go and see it and to appreciate it and work to keep the peace. Keep the peace.
Very wise words, gentlemen, aren't they? Especially coming literally from the horse's mouth, as it were.
I think it's very humbling and a huge honour standing to meet you here today, and it's actually, like Luke said, a real link back to our grandfathers as well, for the sacrifices they gave and the inspiration for the generation of today. So, not a lot more to say. Thank you, Stan.
And very well said. And important, do you agree to keep on commemorating, and again, as Stan was saying, for future generations to understand what they went through, and indeed what you guys stand for?
I think it'd be very easy to forget as the D-Day veterans dwindled in number, but sadly, we've got to keep that message alive. And Stan going into the schools this summer, talking about his experiences, so those lessons do not get forgotten, and we commemorate this year on year.
Veterans will have a chance to put on a plaque within the school, within this complex, their experiences, a photo, probably alongside a photo, but their experiences that the children can read, so that they can appreciate the
All right. Well, thank you all very much for being here this morning. That was a special moment, I think, Stan, wasn't it? I was worried about your cheeks getting red in the cold.
I'll tell you.
We can tell them about that later. All right, thank you very much indeed. So from Portsmouth, as you were saying earlier, John, I think, there'll be lots of commemorations, lots of special events over the next couple of months, building up to things on June the 6th, June the 5th and June the 6th. But from here in Portsmouth, back to you.